a GameStop truck turn over on the highway and a bunch of Switch 2s fly out on the road, are you stopping to pick up one?
I mean, if it falls directly inside my car, then
wow.
Who am I to, I mean, sure, but
I don't want to end up on Instagram. No Instagram video running to pick up a Switch as people recorded and seen my car.
Yeah, boy, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, dog, all you have to do is pull your jersey like this, the Instagram
Yeah, but
the recorder not gonna pick you up.
number plate, my car number plate. Like,
Wow.
Embarrassing. Like, look at this broke girl running out to the road for a Switch.
Because you know it's going on how people recorded.
So the Switch 2 came out and it's off to an incredible start, selling 3.5 million units globally in just its first 4 days on the market.
That's like the fastest selling console ever. I guess people don't care about the prices. The games, however, yeah.
Like a Nintendo Switch 2 could act as a handheld device. The two controllers could turn into a control. It could go on your TV. It basically is the Swiss Army knife, like that we all wanted from the original Switch.
Oh, from the original Switch, correct? Yes.
Yeah, from the original Switch was 720p, and they just basically changed the controller on this one to make it magnetic and put it at 1080p, and everybody was like, "Yes, this is what we wanted 5 years ago, 7 years ago, whatever it is." But what not good about it?
Okay, if you're going to stick to the Nintendo environment, sure. Switch 2, amazing. But if you want to be able to play games from other services, if you want to run whatever you want to run on it, what is a Switch 2 doing for you?
Nah, but that's the whole point. Most people who buy a Switch already have other consoles. I'm not going to buy a Switch to play Call of Duty or Cyberpunk, whatever. I buy a Switch for the Nintendo games.
Welcome to the TriniTechcast. This is episode number 119, and we are recording on the 22nd of June, 2025. This is the penultimate weekend of the month of June. Yep, next weekend will be the... Oh no, this week is a five Monday month. You know what I mean?
I mean more money.
You mean more money for NIS? You mean less money for you? That 5 Monday month, it does catch you, because you see less money in your account and you be like, wait, was I robbed? And then you realize, no, I'm contributing to my I'm contributing to my pension. Yeah, apparently.
There is a point where, I'm sure some people reach a point where, money does just come and you don't even notice if it's more or less, because it's like so much money.
Yeah, one day we'll reach to that point. One day we'll reach to that point. Where it just indiscriminately be like, I want to buy food today. I'm going to buy food today. And
I was that regardless. I could have $3. I was that regardless. I'm like, if God want me to have this food, I will have it.
That fried chicken was made for you.
Exactly.
They can't stop you. They can't stop you. Yeah, I could stop myself, cause I know that ain't gonna work out too well if it happen multiple times indiscriminately.
Yeah, I just run a tight budget. Alright, there's how much for groceries, there's how much for eating out this month.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
Bills. And worst thing is my credit card as well be tapping. So once I put money on my once I put our money on my credit card at the start of the month, I know, okay, if I tap that credit, because that's how I was getting back cash returns now.
Yeah.
Instead of using my debit card, I was just putting money on my credit card to use my credit card, because I sticking it to the bank, because you had to give me back something. Yeah. So
I actually like a spreadsheet with how much I spend, and it's add up everything, different categories, and
send that to me now, because literally like half an hour ago I was trying to do that and then I got distracted.
Yeah, now when my children was young,
like a have like a pie chart and then a bar graph, and you just enter the date and the category, the amount you spend, and
Yeah. When my children was young, I used to do that, but now the budget just ingrained in us, and we just kind of like it just becomes a part of you. Yeah, just no, dope. You can't buy this. Like, Daddy, we could get this, and I just be like in 3 seconds flat process. Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or sometimes when I do say yes, it's be like, what? I was like, yeah, have a little extra because so and so or whatever it is. Yeah, that's how the budgeting thing does go. All right, well that's a very unplanned intro. My name is Andre Charles from Make It Simple TT, and my first co-host is Akeem there, Day One, and Michaela Noel, D100. And long time I call her Diversity Hire, so Diversity Hire is it. We are the Trinitecast if you're listening for the first time, because I don't know, you probably saw a video go viral on one of the social medias, and it's like, who are these random people that I see ever so often popping up on my feed, and they're talking about things that it seems like they know about? Well, yeah, we talk about technology every week, and we have an audio version and we have a video version that nobody watches, but people love the short form. And I'm glad to have you. What did you do, Techie, this week? We normally intro with that, but we intro with budgeting. What you was doing? What you was going to me do? Akeem, what project you started with your AI?
I start not really with AI, but I start implementing an ERP kind of for my business. Yeah, so with the whole purchasing, sales, accounting, point of sale, website, so I start.
And it's all one centralized database?
Yeah, one database, one ERP. Normally with this ERP, you're supposed to normally people just kind of hire a consultant or somebody to help them do it.
Yeah.
But I was like, nah,
you hire ChatGPT for $29 a month? How much you paying ChatGPT a month?
$20.
20 US, yeah. So you hire ChatGPT to be a consultant.
20 US, but
yeah, kinda. The part that was like I had me pulling out some of my hair was the accounting, because I never do accounting in my life, and just to configure the accounting part, you had to do chart of accounts and journal and ledger, and like all of that was foreign to me, so I was now learning.
Yeah.
About accounting.
That's so cool. And it's open source.
Yeah. Open source. Well, it's open source, so you could either have a paid version or you could self-host. You could self-host. The self-host on open source. I'm not going on self-host.
Yeah, I understand.
So I just paid it. It's called you probably heard about it, Odoo.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I dabble in Odoo already. Right. But I end up just using Invoice Ninja. Because I didn't need point of sale and thing now. Because I had no physical location.
Yeah, there's like a full-blown...
Yeah. I get you. Yeah, that will work. Man, just get paid a couple thousands to configure that and thing. So
yeah.
I'm glad you're finding joy in that. Yeah. Anything Techie, Michaela, or just
do you think
living your life?
Studying? Yeah, because
for your certification.
Yes, because the voucher expiring in 2 weeks, so I had to get together and finish.
I know what that. Like, I was supposed to do ITIL. A few years I was supposed to do ITIL, and we get a voucher. And it had like a whole year to do it, and I wait like the month before it expired.
Yeah, literally. Last time I ended up doing my C-squared certification, because I think I did it the week before the voucher expired. I said, this expiring, let me start studying and let me do it. Yeah.
It's such a granny thing to say. Like, if a granny hears that the voucher expiring, they thinking that it have a coupon that you have to go and use in the grocery before it expire. But we here talking about the voucher expiring, and it's an online certification. How the world has changed. My, how the world has changed. All right, well, cool. Yeah, my techiness didn't reach anywhere because I've been in the bush for the most part of the weekend. So I was one with nature. even though I was getting cell signal, the data wasn't working too well up in Paria. But I was able to like send WhatsApp messages whenever. It was like coming on like floods. 1 minute it had water, next minute it had no water. Yeah. All the WhatsApp messages were just flooding in. I check. I was like, okay, cool. And then like an hour later, it might get a next flood, the data come back on. So it was cool. It was cool to know that I could still be connected. But when I wanted to be disconnected, I have to turn off my data if I want to disconnect, because there are no dead spots anymore. There are no dead spots in the bush. All right, let's go. Today we're talking about WhatsApp being a binding contract. There was actual judgment. A judge said, hey, what you all said on WhatsApp matters and the contract is upheld. And I was like, ooh, good stuff. Because we all have those people who send you a thumbs up on WhatsApp. And now you could say, yes, you signed the contract. If you send a thumbs up, it counts.
No, but thumbs up is like a disrespectful thing, you know.
We will talk about it just now. Yeah. State of data privacy in Trinidad and Tobago, that's the second thing. Somebody wrote an article about data privacy in Trinidad and Tobago and what we should do, which we could touch on for a little bit. We spoke about it a few times, but it was nice to see an article about it. And then we'll talk about Nintendo Switch and their games. Nintendo Switch 2, and their games. I'm going to update that because it's the Switch 2. Nintendo Switch 2 and their games and what implications that has for first party and third party developers internationally. So before we jump into the first one, I have something random to tell you that I don't know which ad gonna get placed there, but that's how it's going. Well, you probably made it this far in the podcast. That means you probably like technology a lot and like to at least hear us talk about technology. And that also means you may know somebody or somebody who knows somebody or somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who wants a website built or an app built or some sort of technology integrated in their business. If you want to help them out, you could send them to Make It Simple TT, send them to us. And we have business services that range from building websites to building apps to invoicing systems to ensuring that technology is used in your company to installation of routers, buying things online. So you could check us out, 308-8799. You could check our services out, or you could go to makeitsimplett.com and see some of the things that we've done and maybe give a recommendation to our website built or something like that. All right, so let's go with WhatsApp as a binding contract. Before I share this article, I want to hear you quickly. Have you ever done a deal on WhatsApp?
Yeah.
Define a deal.
All right. You agreed to services from somebody, and there is a stipulation of payment for those particular services. And if one party does not meet their part of the obligation, either the service is withheld or the money is withheld for the poor service.
Yeah. I booked a hair appointment.
All right, so that was a binding contract, and if you were the wronged one, you could have taken that person to court.
So I kind of have one that kind of would in support of this article. Now that we're talking about it, I remember. So I went through the process of somebody reaching out to me on WhatsApp to do our website, and we negotiated the pricing. There's how much it will cost. There's what you're gonna get, and they more or less send the content for the website and everything went through. I was talking to the assistant to the owner of the company, right? And so went through payment came in. I was using Square to do the payment. That's like a payment processor in the US, right? Payment came through as a down payment, completed the website, and then I got the final payment. And lo and behold, Square contacted me saying that the person who sent the payment dispute the charge. Right? And I was like, oh, so Square was like, yeah, we need this money that we sent to the account. We need this money to send back to the person. So they took the money out of my account and sent it back to the person. So I was like, what are you going on? But they told me I could dispute the refund. So it was more or less a refund I had to do. I could dispute the refund. And in the dispute, I took all the WhatsApp messages between me and the assistant talking, because the credit card that was used was the owner's credit card. And he was disputed, and he said that he had no idea what the charge was for. Right? So I sent all the WhatsApp messages between me and his assistant, negotiating the price, the down payment, the website, what was delivered. I even sent the link to the website, a URL, comprehensive, detailed kind of report. But the main part of the report was the WhatsApp messages showing that, hey, this person really ordered this, and it you know, what he's saying is probably not the truth. So I did that, like a month passed, and I won the dispute and I got back the money. So that kind of goes to show that the WhatsApp messages was like, not just here, but in the US too. You could use that as a way to, you know, to win a dispute.
Nice.
All right. Well, let me go through this dispute here. Of course, I have gone through WhatsApp messages with people, and exactly what happened here is kind of like the reverse of what happened. Well, kind of happened to me, but at the end of the day, you had to send back a contract signed, a PDF signed to me, because I ain't taking that WhatsApp thing. So what happened here is, right, two people wanted to discuss some scaffolding work, however the case is, right? So they go in and fix up a nightclub or whatever the case is, right? One person, which is the person who owns the nightclub, was message a contractor and said, hey, we need to get this thing fixed up. Need it to be like do some demolition works and whatnot. And they quote one price. Then in the WhatsApp message now, they haggle a little bit, blah, 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 blah. And then he reduced the price. So he reduced the price in the WhatsApp message. And then person B, which is the person who looking for the worker. Sorry, person B is the contractor. It's like, all right, cool, yeah, I'll reduce it for you. And then the contractor sends an email with the original price that he wanted to use, not the reduced price. However, he sent the email and my boy never signed the contract or never acknowledged the email or anything. All he did was say, the WhatsApp message is the price that you told me, and the email that you sent me with the contract is not what we agreed to on WhatsApp. So when the payment was made, essentially, the man said, hey, the contract I emailed to you was the price. And the man's like, I never tell you yes in an email. I tell you yes on WhatsApp. Mm-hmm. They took that to the judge, and the judge was like, yeah, well, he told you yes on WhatsApp, so that's the amount he has to pay. And that was the end of it. But, and he started
in England.
Yeah, in England, yeah.
Okay.
He started the work well, it has some TNT links, I think, to whatever it is, right? But the point is, he thought that the email being sent is essentially, that is how the thing does work. Yeah. But the person was like, nah, there's no need to make my deals on WhatsApp. Yeah. You find well, of course he fumbled by not getting a response to the email, but
because like according to like contract law, if you look at the basis side in contract law, I think you need the both sides to be in agreement. You need to offer something and the person need to accept it. So if you're looking just at that basic thing, the WhatsApp thing more binding than the email. You just send an email, the person he ain't acknowledge it. But in WhatsApp, you offer the price, I agree to it. You know, that more binding than the email in that case. You know, it's not like it's just verbal, you know, and you have no record of it nowhere.
But then the problem is that in the world that we live in, right, you can doctor like emails, not emails, like WhatsApp messages and screenshots, and you could export the WhatsApp conversation and all those different things. Do we have like technological forensics people, whoever in the courts that will examine these things properly to see if the WhatsApp messages have not been tampered with, because there are two ways you could prove it, with either screenshots or export the entire chat. Which I'm not too sure what happens when you delete a message, if it shows the deleted messages but says that it was deleted or some kind of thing like that. Because I haven't exported a WhatsApp chat in a long time. Anybody ever export a WhatsApp chat recently? No?
Nah. So, like in that case, that would happen if you go to court and the other person deny and be like, yeah, I never sent that message. But in this case, the guy probably was like, yeah, we agreed on this in WhatsApp, but this email, you know. So I don't know, it might come down to, like, you know, well, this is on TV, so I don't know how true this is, but you know, sometimes they'll have expert witnesses or whatever. Mm-hmm. They'll probably try to get an expert forensic IT person to try and, if one party disputing the legitimacy of the message, they might try to get a person like that to do some kind of forensic thing on it.
Okay. Now, seeing that is clear, right? If you make an argument and you send a contract and it's sent by email, make sure you get acknowledgement. You say, please acknowledge below, or else the work cannot begin. And so he started the work. Right. No, it have a thing that says that you can't use thumbs up. Yeah. So somewhere inside here, they have a linked article they're trying to open up that says, watch what you say or emoji contract information. Modern technology use and its implications. For example, a Canadian court has previously ruled that a thumbs up emoji was a valid means of accepting the terms of a contract. Now, there's one thing to send text, right? Do you believe, McKellar, it's fair to say yes via a thumbs up and the person be taken to law? Oh, what? Okay, wait.
Because if both parties acknowledge that a thumbs up means yes, and nobody else says anything. So if I thumbs up your message and you infer that as yes, and you don't ask for clarification, or okay, so say you're in the position of the person who thumbs up the message. If I thumbs up your message, that means I'm okay with it. Go ahead. So to me, that makes sense. Thumbs up your message, that means go ahead.
Akeem, I don't know if you find that very unprofessional.
Yeah, like a thumbs up. Like if I send my wife a thumbs up, she'll get upset.
Well,
if my wife said a thumbs up, like if we talk about something and I just put and like I just don't want, like somebody don't wanna carry on the conversation, I just put a thumbs up and it's be like, you know, you're dismissing them. But I don't know. I think you need to clarify, as McKellar said. You know, a thumbs up. And if you didn't go on to clarify, that's kind of on you. You know, but
I think so, yeah. Okay, watch this article here. This is an older article, but it's from TrinidadLaw.com, right? There are several legal requirements that must be satisfied in order for a valid legally binding contract to be created. These include an offer and the acceptance of that offer. Generally, an offer is defined as an expression of willingness to contract on certain items made with the intention that it shall become binding as soon as it is accepted by the person to whom it is addressed. The receiving party may either reject the offer and make a counter-offer, or it can accept the offer, which forms the basis of an agreement to the both parties, right? So, in this example, Southwest, the buyer, made an offer to buy flax on the terms set out in the contract that he drew up and sent to the farmer. The issue was whether the farmer's thumbs up emoji amounted to an acceptance of that offer, or, as the farmer argued, simply an acknowledgement by the buyer that he had received it. It is important to know that in determining whether or not the emoji was sufficient to amount to a contractual acceptance, the court was concerned not with the farmer's own subjective understanding of what the emoji meant, but what an informed objective bystander would have understood it to mean. So here is my argument. Sometimes a thumbs up just means, yeah, I got it. Yeah, received. or hey, whatever you sent, I have. And that is crazy, because now the person who sent it to you could say, no, to me the thumbs up meant, yes, proceed with the work, and I'll send you an invoice. And that emoji thing, the emoji part, that's very risky for me. Very, very, very
like
risky.
For me, if I send you that and I see you give me a thumbs up, I go in and still try and get you to put in writing that you agree to it. I wouldn't just...
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if somebody gives me a thumbs up, I'll do the same thing too, but thumbs up means that, yeah, go ahead. But it's on you to confirm. If you don't confirm, then...
You see what Michaela do there? That Gen Z kind of life. They're like, oh, well, it's up to you to say yes or no, because you are allowed to use the emoji and be in the gray. You are allowed to use the emoji and have wiggle room now to back out if you want to. And that's not cool, because that could open up a very, very big rabbit hole. Because what if you send the shake hand emoji? Does the shake hand emoji means we shook hands and we agreed? Because the interpretation of emoji now starts to come into consideration. The interpretation emoji. What if you send a peach and a bygone? It's the kind of difficult things that emoji going and put. So I don't think emoji should even be like, if you discussing a set of work to be done by somebody, sending an emoji shouldn't even be a part of your texting vocabulary, because you're talking about something serious. Like if you don't want to go to the email part, which is you decided emails are too archaic and it's too boring or whatever the case is, and you're using WhatsApp, then use text, because the way our laws are written up, it's not going to give the person who's on the non-emoji side a fighting chance, because the person who send the emoji will always have a cop out of lack of interpretation, which is exactly why contracts.
I don't agree with that ruling. That ruling don't make sense. It's too vague. Whether I was in Canada.
Yeah, that was in Canada.
Yeah, I don't think in other countries that person probably wouldn't have in that case.
What? The farmer would have had to pay, because the thumbs up means I agree to the terms, right?
No, I don't agree that you should hold somebody to account for a thumbs up that, you agree to the contract. I agree that the thumbs up could either be I agree.
Okay. Right.
Acknowledging or receiving.
Acknowledgement that I receive it, yeah. Yeah. I think I've seen that a few times, where I may have clients and the clients may be asking for certain things like on the fly, and then they send a message and they say, oh yeah, we could fix this or fix that, or whatever the case is, and they might respond with a sticker. And a sticker is like, yeah, okay, great, thumbs up, a thumbs up sticker, all kind of things like that. And I'd be like, I don't feel very comfortable about that. And then you have to send like an email clearly stating certain things. That is like almost as bad as word of mouth. Almost as bad as word of mouth. Because you could imagine somebody come and tell you, no, you remember when we was when we met the other day, and you said 500. And you said 500? And then sometimes you see people seeing that, and they when you quote them, when you send a quote and it's more than 500, be like, wait, when we spoke, didn't you say 500? I was like, no, I never said that. I said about 500. That is why it's 525. And then they'll be like, nah, but you tell me 500. And I'm like, no, I said it could be about, because it's an estimate. And them kind of stuff, the emoji thing sounding more like that to me. It close to that. If it's not written in words and sent via email, I don't want to know. However, it's becoming increasingly difficult, I can say that for sure, to get people to respond to emails and things. I was going to ask, Michaela, you had to sign your contract physically, right?
Yeah.
Right. If that's in your contract via email and you had to like sign it and email it back.
I've had to do that before. Yeah.
And how long it take before you sign the contract and email it back? Well, you'll probably want the money back.
Yeah, basically, yes. I'll sign it same day. Sign it same day and send it back.
Yeah, I could send a contract to somebody and it might take a while to send it back.
Well, you see, it depends. If you send a contract to employ somebody, they'll sign it a little faster. But if you send a contract for them to pay you, they'll take a little long to do it.
And
the money coming out of their pockets.
And I just had to take long to start the work.
Exactly.
Yeah. 50% down payment to begin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. But then what is your friend, you know? You went to school with them.
They're no friend.
It's not a friend in business.
Exactly. So my thing is, if that's your friend, then you should be speedy on the payment. If that's your friend, you should want to pay them more and you should want to pay them faster.
Yeah.
These are...
You don't have to spend for discounts.
All these are things that need to be ratified in some sort of law because it needs to be very, very clear when these things come to judges, because right now judges going to have to judge based on their knowledge of technology and external experts and consultants and them kind of thing. It's in hard to put these kind of things in law because there are terms and there's wording to clearly talk about online conversations or messages where you could put it in, where an email is a totally different category. I think it could be integrated into the laws easily. What do you think?
Yeah. As we're not halfway through, but yeah.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying. Yeah. Probably playing Plants vs. Zombies. Talking about laws, like talk about Trinidad laws, which haven't been updated since 2011 digitally. Somebody wrote a scathing article about it. Let's see what they say. Right now you're listening to Trinity TechCast, and more than likely you know that I love technology a lot. But more so, I love teaching technology. I'm a CSEC IT and CAPE Computer Science and IT teacher, and I have classes that are available. So if you know any student that's looking for quality CAPE Computer Science or CSEC IT classes, you can check us out 308-8799 on WhatsApp or makeitsimplett.com/register. You can get classes, notes, recordings, IA, SBA help, everything that you could think of that will get you that one in CSEC IT. So you can check us out. Recent local events have highlight. This is by I can't remember. They didn't put a name of the person. Okay. Yeah. In an era dominated by digital transactions and online communications, data privacy is more than just a legal concern, it's a fundamental right. The increasing prevalence of cyber threats, identity theft, and unauthorized data usage highlights the necessity for robust legal frameworks to protect personal information. Unfortunately, Trinidad and Tobago, our existing Data Protection Act 2011 falls short in several key areas, leaving citizens and businesses inadequately protected. So the article kind of breaks down all of the different loopholes or issues that pertain to the act. And one of the problems is, listen to this, over a decade after being passed, key sections of the act have never been legally proclaimed. This means that parts that would regulate how the private sector collects and uses personal data data is not legally enforceable. And this part, I think Shiva used to talk about that sometimes, but it have certain parts of the act haven't become law, which is crazy that from since 2011 to now, it hasn't become law because they don't have time to talk about it in Parliament.
I don't know, and given the fact that we had, and probably still have a big drive for digital transformation.
Yeah, because after the TSTT stuff, it was kind of weird that nothing could have happened or whatever the case is, but it's not fully enforced. So what has to happen is that act has to be created, and then the act now has to be taken to the Parliament to become law, and then the opposition will have to look at the act and ratify it and say what they want to change and say what they don't want to change, and they'll go back and forth until they come up with the final wording for it, and then they will proclaim it as the party in government now will pass it to the president to proclaim it as law, right? That didn't happen.
If you have the majority, do you still need to go to the opposition? Like if you have the 2/3 or
you still have a papi shoot them
majority, but they can't. The opposition won't be able to block it.
No, they won't be able to block it, but they will be able to point out certain things and have it on the record that they said that this part here is bad and whatever the case is. And hopefully the press will pick it up. And then when the press pick it up, the press will show or say that the government is trying to push this law. The opposition said this. What do you think? And then you could strike and all that kind of things. So it's possible for them to just say, all right, everybody has to work till 65. And the opposition will say, if everybody works till 65, the fallout will be this. And then if the ruling party has the majority, they'll be like, I don't care about what you say. We are going to pass this. And then before the next sitting of parliament, somebody had a strike, or else that law will just get passed.
Yeah, but that's pension, right? But digital laws. How much Chinese you think going to strike about digital laws?
I don't think anybody will strike. I think we will just be happy. We should just be happy. Like, okay, in the current state of the parliament, they should be able to take this act, spruce it up, and then just go and drop it. Unless it does something that's very strange with data, which is allows data to be shared or some kind of thing like that. Somebody will have to point it out. But, I mean, it ain't rocket science to fix this. Is it?
No, I don't think so. Apart from data being shared, also data being collected on people, like kind of not spying, but data collection and that type of thing.
So here's our next thing that the act missing. It's missing critical rights on how standards should be applied, which is the right to erasure, meaning to have your data deleted. You could request that your data be deleted, and mandatory breach notifications, which is if your data is stolen, it must have clear rules to say the company has to notify people of it within 24 hours or 48 hours of let's call it a 0-day Makela. Is a 0-day attack?
What are you trying to refer to exactly?
Like if you get hacked and you have a 0-day breach, you have to report that to.
I think I'll just be a data breach.
Yeah, data breach. Yeah. You're supposed to report it. How soon you're supposed to report it?
I think within. So it depends on who you're reporting it to. So you have different time frames to report it to different bodies. So you have to report it to, I can't remember who. I think it's not TTC, but somebody you have to report it to within 24 hours. You have to alert customers within a certain time frame. Any other regulatory bodies, you have to. It depends. So it depends on the breach. It depends on who was breached, and it depends on the industry. But there are set time frames in which you are supposed to comply. It's more regulatory compliance. So
right. So nobody you don't have to do it. If you're big enough, you don't have to do it because they can't do you nothing.
I mean, if you're using a technology, so say you're using the people on them credit card technology, you have to comply by their compliance standards, or else they will not allow you access to their technology. So it's kind of like if you don't play by our rules, we can kick you out the party.
Hold our services, on the platform. Yeah. Okay. But if our government service does it, nobody could tell them anything. So if I'm
not too sure about the laws around that. So
that's what we kind of looking at here. If your BIR and your tax, remember last week we was talking about tax information. If your tax information get leaked, who going to be held accountable? Not a
At the
soul.
moment,
Nobody gonna tell you that you're wrong. That's the problem with the act, which I think we've gone through slightly. Next thing that the article points out is that we don't have a independent data protection authority with strong enforcement powers in Trinidad and Tobago. So if let's say if you get breached, which we were just talking about, and you don't report it, there is nobody that is going to hold you accountable for it as a large business. Nobody will be like, you'll get fined by the FTC. Is the FTC federal? No, that's Trade Commission. FCC, Federal Communications Commission. That's the US one, yeah. The FCC will fine you a lot of money, which is backed by the government because the government has put this body in place to ensure that your data protection is there. And that's kind of like one of the reasons why our financial situation is kind of rough with respect to like different app stores and PayPal and all these different people, because we just don't have the regulatory things in place that these companies are going to be trustworthy. Well, that these companies are going to trust in order for them to allow us to have, like warranty support for certain items, the ability to do financial transactions using certain apps and those sort of things. We don't have that. And if we don't put that in place, then our digital life is just going to be stunted. Because there'll be this big glass ceiling. And then people will just go to America and create a bank account. He's smiling, he laughing. Yeah, yeah. Because you'll just realize that if you build technology and you don't have the technology in place, and you try to go to, like I tried to do something with Google the other day, and it's not available in our country. Yeah, not available in our region. And I like, why? And then when I drill down to it, we just can't be trusted because we don't have any. That was a web thing I was trying to apply for something on the web. And basically I realized I need a US account to do it. Or I need some sort of US. I need to be affiliate. I need a US business to do it or some kind of thing like that because our stuff. Yeah. And there was a time I had to apply for something called a DUNS number, which is to be able to do transactions on the App Store.
Yeah.
Boy, that was headache. Way. Because a DUNS number is essentially proving that you're a legitimate business and that you have a legitimate bank account to be able to receive the money. And when I send them my legitimate business certificate from Trinidad and Tobago, they was like, what is that? Did you like do this certificate on photo?
Microsoft Word?
Yeah, Microsoft Word. Something's wrong there. And yeah, I had to explain them. I had to send them the Ministry of Trade, the website, where you could search up for the business number or the business name and convince them that if you search up it there, you'll see the business and it has a number and it's legitimate. And I was kind of embarrassed because the website was looking shady too. And yeah, and eventually they gave me the number so that we'll be able to accept payments on the store.
Store.
Yeah, but that no longer, Google was like, yeah, come now. Like, you want to make an app to make money? Go ahead, make it. Apple was like, nope, we don't do that. And that's the kind of thing that happens to us when we don't have proper data protection laws or a data protection act or basically an IT bill. Our IT bill is lacking seriously. So which one of the three you think would be the most important for them to, if they had to make sure one thing is in the new act, which one would you put? That is the
the most important thing, I guess, would be the body or the person or the commission, like the body to oversee everything and to actually enforce and make sure everybody compliant. That would probably be the most important thing. Because if you have all the other stuff in it and you don't have a body to to enforce it. So I mean, whatever they're declaring, that have to be part of it. You probably don't want to leave it up to a ministry, declare it and have its own body that would be, have the specialty and the personnel in there that would be able to enforce stuff. What was the other two? I'm not sure. That was one.
That was the enforcer. The next one is the ability to have your data deleted, meaning you could request every site or company must have the ability for you to delete the data. And then the other one is data breach notifications must be done within a particular time.
Yeah. Maybe Michaela, you could chime in.
Yeah, I think that the one that will be able to be implemented the fastest would be the data breach notifications. The most important one.
Just now, why that one going to be the fastest one? I'm positive that there are many companies that will just be like, whoa, 2 years later, we didn't realize that we got breached. Wow, best we don't tell anybody because life went on anyhow.
Yes and no, because it may have been a while ago, but people tend to stick to what they know. So if they were involved in a data breach, the chances of them changing their password within the last 3 years is very, very, very slim. So they should still be alerted that, hey, your credentials should y'all should change it just in case. It was a while ago, so you're probably not affected, but just in case.
Yeah, but all right, Trinidad will just be like
panic. Yeah, Trinidad will panic. I know, but
like, oh gosh, all my money it gone. You see, I don't trust them. Trust them people and them.
But it's still nice to know. But I think that would be the easiest to implement from a legislative point. Companies may be a little slow to adopt it because they may not know where to look. So that's the only thing.
So the right to have your data deleted don't really matter too much to you at all, yeah?
I don't really hear Trinidadians kicking up too much of a fuss about that, so...
You ever went and modify your Google data deletion time and all them kind of things?
Nope.
I went and do that. Them been holding my stuff for more than 30 days.
Yeah, but I don't really believe those deleted. I believe if they really need to find something on it, it's stored somewhere.
All right, you could believe that, but the FCC and playing with them. The FCC, if they have a loophole, is millions of dollars them getting fined. Like it could actually affect their bottom line if they don't put it in place. That's why they put it in place so clearly and concisely. Like I went and modified my Google ads to take out certain things, and I stopped seeing the ads for a while. They end up coming back, but
let's put it this way.
Yeah.
To the public, they need to do that, but like you say, any background, whatever agency.
Uncle Sam asks for something.
Yeah, I sure that there's somewhere. archive.org that could go back how much years. I saw
any alphabet agency could get.
Yeah,
they
I saw
large
parts of everything stored somewhere.
Okay. So even if they give us the ability to let's say for example,
it's the illusion of choice, basically.
Yeah.
All right, so let's say Massy Stores gives me the ability to go and delete my data
right now, but yeah.
Massy Stores create a website called massystores.com/. Where's my data? And you go there and it tells you everything that it knows about you with respect to your shopping habits and all that kind of drama. And you can click erase. When you click erase, Massy ain't moving that for nothing. It actually just gonna lie to you and tell you that we delete it, but it's still in our table somewhere.
Yeah, we just archive it somewhere.
That's not searchable. Like our WhatsApp chat. Okay. Yeah, that one is the least important. I agree with you.
The number one most important thing, they need to proclaim it.
Yeah, boy. They need to reword it and proclaim it. And well, in proclaiming it, if they do one thing, I agree with you, which is they must put a body in place that is going to mimic what the FCC does in the States, which is look at all of these companies or any technology-based company, which is a lot of our companies will have databases and those sort of things. Basically, a database watchdog. Yeah, a database watchdog is generally where you should start before you start to look at types of deals, trades, mergers, buyouts, and all them kind of drama that does take place. Just be a database watchdog and check to see what the data and start with the government services. Even though, even in the States, I believe the government services have very shaky ways of getting past the FCC, depending on who's the FCC chairman. The FCC chairman does kind of like turn a blind eye to certain things and be like, oh yeah, we won't run down these people.
Yeah, I mean, so you need to proclaim it. Once you proclaim it, you need to have a body in place. And Michaela point, once you have that body in place, you need to have some rules to enforce. And the, I forget what it was. In terms of
the requiring
notification of breaches, that's a good place to start. In terms of, have something that's enforceable.
The only thing that we have close to that, it would be the central bank. The central bank, as far as I know and as far as I've heard, they run a very tight ship when it comes to fintech registrations, fintech applications, and well, at least from our perspective, from the consumer's perspective.
So that's your perspective. If you talk to somebody like Adwin, Wayne, Mr. We he would tell you, a lot of the stuff real bureaucratic and there's real red tape, and so that both sides right.
So that I was saying, the only place that has stuff that you could complain about is them. Everybody else just be like, look at, because when you think about major things, like let's say fintech is one, let's say IT is one. When you think about land and building codes and property management and all that kind of drama, we have real loopholes with respect to who could build where, when you could build, how far you could build, and all kind of different things. One man's problem is another man's
solution.
No solution, a joke. It'd be like, what? They tell you can't build? Why? Because I have to get this and I have to get that and I get that. And the next one will be like, I just bring our backhoe and I start to build, and they cast up here, that kind of thing. Quarters, all that kind of thing. Yeah, we don't have any regulatory body for that. So, but it have like acts and things that have to put in place. So when it comes to tech, we see how it go.
Yeah, well, I mean, in terms of that stuff with the land, it could go all the way too far with in some places with squatters' rights.
Right.
Squatters have so much rights, the owners just can't kick them out.
Exactly, yeah. And somebody could create one ridiculously bad digital company in Trinidad and Tobago and start to do all kind of nefarious things with it, and it had nothing to stop them.
Well, if you go back 2 years or so, people has been doing that with a lot of the cryptocurrency investments. Investment
Correct.
stuff.
And people just saying, I want more money, and then when they go to the court, they be like, why were you so stupid? and then you really can't get anywhere with it. Yeah, this digital world, it real tough to regulate, but definitely Trinidad in the next 5 years, we had to regulate it if we go and be like technologically driven or close to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, cool. Speaking about driven, a GameStop truck was driven and they stole a lot of Nintendo Switch 2s. Why? Because apparently the Switch 2 matters. Let's get to that. If a GameStop truck turn over on the highway and a bunch of Switch 2s fly out on the road, are you stopping to pick up one?
I mean, if it falls directly inside my car, then
wow.
Who am I to, I mean, sure. But if it's on the road, maybe, if it fall in my car,
if it fall at the side and you just happen to be at a red light,
I know what end up on Instagram. on no Instagram video running to pick up a Switch as people recorded and seen my
Yeah, boy, that's
number plate.
embarrassing.
Yeah, dog, all you do is pull your jersey like this, you know, the Instagram,
Yeah, but
the
those
recorder not gonna
see
pick you
one
up.
number plate, my car number plate, and like
Wow,
yeah,
wow.
That's
Yeah,
embarrassing.
that
Like, look
could-
at this broke girl run out to the road for a Switch.
Way.
Because you know
Apparent-
it going on have people recording. No, everywhere something like going on have people recording.
Why? So the Switch 2 came out and it's on 2 weeks since its release. So yeah, the Nintendo Switch 2, so I'm zooming out, but yeah, it's off to an incredible start, selling 3.5 million units globally in just its first 4 days on the market. This article would have been from the 19th of June, so that was like a few days ago.
That
So
that
probably
record,
into-
that's like the fastest selling.
Correct.
Console
yes. Fastest selling console ever.
I guess people don't care about the prices.
Yeah, boy.
How much it's selling for? I can't remember.
Too much.
For something?
Yeah, for
Nah,
something.
I don't find it's
But-
the games, however, yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
wait. Let me just I'll pause there before I read the rest of the article. Why the price too high? Like a Nintendo Switch 2 could act as a handheld device. The two controllers could turn into a control. It could go on your TV. It basically is the Swiss Army knife, like that we all wanted from the original Switch.
Oh, from the original Switch, correct. Yes. But
Yeah, from
Swiss Army
the
knife,
original
no.
Switch was 720p, and they just basically changed the controller on this one to make it magnetic and put it at 1080p, and everybody was like, yes, this is what we wanted 5 years ago, 7 years ago, whatever it is. But what not good about it?
The so in the last 5 years, so many other good handheld gaming devices have been released that the
Right.
Switch 2. I mean, if you're specific, okay, if you're going to stick to the Nintendo environment, sure, Switch 2 amazing. But if you want to be able to play games from other services, if you want to run whatever you want to run on it, what is a Switch 2 doing for you?
Nah, but that's the whole point. Most people who buy a Switch already have other consoles. I'm not going to buy a Switch to play Call of Duty or Cyberpunk, whatever. I buy a Switch for the Nintendo games. I'm not buying a Switch.
Yeah.
'cause-
And then plus Nintendo games, $60, $80, $90. I'm good. No.
All right, okay, let me go to let me continue with the article now. I'll tell you why. Because third-party publishers, they're telling telling this company, Game Business, that their sales numbers were below our lowest estimates for what they expected to sell on the Switch 2. The only third-party game that seems to have great success was Cyberpunk 2077. Everybody else, Vex. Third-party unit sales, Switch physical software during the week reached shy of 40%. Basically, what the article is trying to tell us is that if it's not a Nintendo game, nobody buying it.
Yeah, which
Could
means
it-
people
is it
only
price?
buying it. People buying a Switch to play the Nintendo games.
Yeah.
I sure if you poll people, the majority of them already have other consoles. So they're buying it just for the Nintendo games.
What Nintendo games? Mario and Zelda?
Yeah. That's
Was
legit.
it-
Yeah.
Was the other Nintendo games that exist? I want to know.
Yeah, Mario Kart, yeah, Zelda.
Right. Is there like Mario World still?
Yeah, it had, well, I don't think they released a new one as yet. The last one was probably Odyssey. You know, but, was it, what do you call it, Mario Party or Smash?
Super Smash Brothers?
Super
Smash
Smash
Bros.
Brothers.
Whoa, if I remember that's not a good sign.
Still have people that would buy a game for Pokemon. I think that's all. Like on my Switch, I have Mario and I have Zelda. And I have my Switch probably 6 years. I have Mario, Zelda. I can't even remember what other game I have. Yeah, and I only buy my Switch to play the Nintendo games.
I asking a very simple question.
Oh, I have Mario Kart 2.
What?
And I have
Donkey Kong.
Sports.
If Donkey Kong games still there.
yeah, Donkey Kong will be.
So what you're trying to tell me, or what you're trying to allude to, is that people going out and spending the $500 to buy a Switch to play Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wind.
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild, sorry, yeah, because I'm pretty good at reading this thing. Donkey Kong Bonanza, Super Mario Party Jamboree, Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Metroid Prime, because I think Metroid is still assigned to thing. And then some other game called Luigi's Mansion coming up.
Yeah.
People are going to run to buy this thing just to play those games. Are those games cheaper than the other games?
Not really. And you have to remember too, Nintendo fans span from people who probably in the 60s all the way down. And people at that higher age group probably have more disposable income to buy stuff. Because not just going to be younger people, say below 30, below 25. It have people in the 30s, 40s, 50s who going to buy a Switch not for the children, but for themselves to sit down and play Mario.
Oh, yeah.
So they have a wide range in terms of the fan base. Like the other consoles might be younger people, maybe 50s come down, but the Nintendo, I think their fan base probably way bigger. And that's probably a factor. You know, and they'll have a lot of parents buying the Switch and be like, yeah, I buy this for my son or my daughter, but they're going to be playing it more than them.
So so they sold that dream to the third-party developers?
I don't know.
Why Cyberpunk?
Probably they had better marketing. Cause I mean, that was kind of the only game I saw from casually looking at the articles getting promoted. Plus, too, what third-party game came out in the past year or two that had real good sales on the other consoles? Like I'm asking, I'm not sure. So that could be a factor too.
And them free-to-play shooters does normally be doing real good?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't want to play... People probably don't want to play that on the Switch and those games free. You know, so...
Does the Switch have access to like Steam and Epic and them kind of thing?
Steam, no, they have their own Nintendo store.
Oh, okay. Well then,
Wasting
I guess.
my time.
Yeah. But I mean, PlayStation 2 they have their own store too, so it's the same concept.
Yeah, I guess, a Switch is for a casual gamer. As far as I know, a Switch is for a casual gamer. It's no hardcore gamer that going to get a Switch, as Akim say, is their second console. But
But wait, it have hardcore Super Smash Brothers, cause have like tournaments and thing for Smash Brothers and Makala.
Yeah.
Yes, like so it has some hardcore stuff in some of the games, like real competitive play and international tournaments.
You know what third party game will do? GTA 6. If they
Nintendo wouldn't do that. Nah.
Yeah, I think they didn't get GTA last time.
Really? I don't know.
Let me see.
Why Nintendo wouldn't do it? Because they think it's for kids? Nah.
I don't know maybe the age rating, but at the same time Cyberpunk is there and I don't know what's the rating. Let me see what's the rating for Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk had to be mature because it has strip clubs in there. As far as I saw from clips on the internet.
GTA 5 on the Switch.
Well, you had to have a real big contract. GTA will have to pay a lot, or either Nintendo will have to pay Rockstar money to put GTA on, because sometimes
Cyberpunk is mature.
Yeah, sometimes the deals go the other way. If they get GTA 6, that will be a third party that does well. But yeah, I think based on my limited knowledge of games, these third party.
Sorry, it's due to hardware limitations and business decisions.
And business decisions, asterisk. Don't forget our part. The business decisions have a part to play too.
They're not able to handle the game and the online component of it.
But the new one, this Switch will be able to handle 6. We hope.
You'll see.
I know GTA 6 will be on any handheld unless it's Steam Deck. The Steam Deck
if
could
I
hold
will
it.
play GTA 6, I don't play it on a Switch. I will play it on a PC or PS5 or whatever.
But wouldn't it be nice to play it mobile?
Nah, I want to sit down and get the full experience.
Anyway, either way, it's the number 1 selling console, so there's obviously a market for casual gaming, and the Mario franchise is going to be the Mario franchise, and it's not going to stop them from capitalizing on it. If I were a third-party game developer, however, I guess what, you had to wait it out or you boycott them?
Nah, you could. You pick and choose your battles. Because by the end of the day, this profitable for Nintendo. Because the third-party games are sure they wouldn't make as much money versus selling copies of Mario and Donkey Kong or whatever.
Quite interesting.
Yeah.
Probably want to monitor it because, I don't know, one of my children might ask for a Switch too. Maybe. And I just had to be like, I spending all this money for you to play Mario? And
literally you are.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That'll be my first thing. But then I end up sitting down doing nothing after you get bored with Mario.
Yeah, and like my Switch, I ain't played that in probably 4 months, 5 months.
Not too bad.
That's considering. If you had a Switch, Michaela, you'd be using it.
If I get the time. But
right now,
time, if I got a Switch and someone bought me all the games, yes, I would use it. But I refuse to go and spend money on games. I have a thing. If I own the game somewhere already, I'm not going to purchase it again. I refuse.
Fair. No, that's fair. I agree.
I'm not doing it.
The gaming getting so weird. By the time I think about start back playing games, I might be too much of a unk, boy.
You already are unk.
Yeah, I might be too much of one. I might be fully into it. Like, I'll be like, nope, gaming don't make no sense.
So, it's have big bro, then it's have unk. What was he saying after unk in terms of age? Gramps.
Me no.
As far as the children deal with, they'll call them Gramps.
Gramps?
Yeah.
Once you pass unk stage, yeah, Gramps. And Gramps is the people that be driving slow on the road and yeah.
There's always like every time somebody driving slow and you pass them and you watch, when you see an older person, you'll be like,
wow, that's so ageist of you. That's
no, that's true.
So so then when somebody do a bad drive, is a woman?
No, because it's not a man doing the bad drive. Because of the time.
I can't even say nothing. He just look up to the sky.
No, I say nothing because the thought comes to me that, like, when I drive in and it may have not my wife, but may have a woman in the car, some of them must be like, I'm sure that's a woman. So some of the women must be, and like, it don't cross my mind, but like, some of them was like, yeah, I'm sure it's a woman.
It don't cross my mind again because in traffic, I'll be so zoned out that it don't even matter. You could, like, a car could do a 360 skid in front of me. I'll just pull to the right and drive slowly and be like,
so you have things to do.
Yeah, person is alive. Okay, cool. I'll move on because the road is just one of them places that could frustrate you if you allow it to. But if you don't allow it to, the road don't have to frustrate you. It don't have to frustrate you.
Yeah.
But that's because I'm on the road for 5 days a week. I remote up out of Spain. Some of us who on the road to pick up from school and back, we don't really get to see too much. The most you might see is out. You ain't seeing no
traffic. I see traffic. You know what I noticed?
Really?
Doing the whole morning to school thing. It's have a lot of accidents. People bouncing each other in traffic.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, traffic, you'll bounce people. if you can't drive.
It's always have rains like crazy. And they just pull aside at very obscure places. And so, okay, no, sorry. I have noticed that most people that have minor fender benders, they do their best to get out of the way quickly to avoid causing traffic. Because there was a time when them used to pose up in the middle of the highway and stop and start to take pictures and all kind of thing because they went moving because they need to prove who was right or who was wrong or whatever. And now they take the pictures quick with their phone and then pull aside to the shoulder. And then, macro traffic will ensue. But macro traffic will only ensue if another car comes. If there are 3 cars, then you know, okay, something happened there. But if it's just 2 of them, you'll be like, okay, cool, just pass those guys and move on. Because I don't want to go through that. All right. That's it there for today, folks. Look at messages I have. No. I now check my unread messages. I thought I was replying to all the messages when I was out in the bush, but I have a lot of unread messages. I have to. What can I deal with that now? Nope. Tomorrow morning for that.
Yeah.
I'll just be like I was indisposed for the whole weekend. Yeah. All right. So recap. We spoke about WhatsApp being a binding contract, and it eventually devolved into us accepting the thumbs up. I don't want to hear about our thumbs up for agreement because it's too much of a gray area. Please reply to my email with a signed contract. If you can't sign it digitally, please print it out, sign it, and scan it, and send an image of it, because that's the only way this thing going down. But there are some situations where you just have to respond to the WhatsApp message from that client. Yeah, you have to. Then we spoke about the state of data privacy in Trinidad and Tobago. We kind of landed on the fact that we should have a commission or some sort of body that will enforce it and look at it. So after they get it into law, the first thing that should be done is get that body to start to monitor those laws as best as possible. And the Nintendo Switch 2 is not worth it according to the 2 gamers here.
No, I didn't say no.
I just play. The Nintendo Switch 2, it has its ups and downs.
The price of the game is probably not worth it. The price of the console.
Yeah.
You could save and buy it with the games there.
All right. We'll see how that goes. All right. My name is Andre Charles, Mr. Charles, as they call me. I driving up to Maracas to head to Paria, stop by a gas station, and one of the gas station attendants was like, "Oh my goodness, if it wasn't for your videos, I would have." And I had my hiking gear, everything. I don't think I could get accustomed to it because I'd just be like, yeah. Well, I hope you get one. And be like, you wouldn't believe how your videos. I was like, okay, cool. I'm in the bush right now. Cool. Like, use the guy, and yeah, it's Yeah, so if you see me on the internet, it's because I'm helping people with technology. But if you see me in person, I'm ridiculously socially awkward. And that's okay. That's okay. We could still chat. All right. Co-host number 1 is
Akim there from Red Bull Tech.
Are you ridiculously socially awkward?
I'm an introvert. But I'm not sure. I don't think so.
You would hug somebody if they meet you the first time and say, "Hey, use the man from Trinidad, you call someone." You would shake the hand?
No. Yeah, I'll shake the hand, but I'm not hugging it off.
I know. I barely shaking your hand. I'll get your bunks.
Yeah, if somebody offer to shake the hand, I will just leave them hanging.
You could get our bunks to the fist, like. Yeah. Okay. All right, Michaela.
Yes, Michaela Noel. You can find me on Instagram only for a while. Yeah, if I'm an extrovert, so if you come up to me in person, I'll say hi. But I'm an extrovert. I love meeting people. It's just sometimes my face is like, well, actually no, I have a perpetual smile, but sometimes I might just look a little confused. I'm not very good at hiding my facial expressions. I'll be like, huh? What? Oh, okay. Hey, what's up? Yeah, so come say hi.
That's the thing I do too.
I'll give you a hug.
Like my wife, all my wife's friends, I say, my face not like my Rustin face always be normally not approachable. Like so that's why people won't really approach my concerts.
Yeah. That was RBF. That's okay. That's all right. I like to find out new things about people in conversation. So if we having a conversation and we talking and I find out something that you're interested in, I'll be like, whoa, you interested in snails? Tell me more. And I will really like dive into it. But it's take a little while to work me into our conversation because generally speaking, I don't want to talk to anybody.
You know,
I'm an extrovert, but I don't like small talk. I like the oh my gosh, hi, bye. I like that.
Like with me, right? And there's probably something bad and I probably shouldn't say it. But like if I out somewhere and I see somebody that I kinda know,
I ducking you easy.
Yeah.
I will find a way around.
I just kind of be like, oh gosh, I really want to. It's like, yeah, it's kind of ducking.
Yeah, I'll push my cart slower so you 2 lanes ahead of me in front of any grocery and thing. Yes, I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah. If I see one of my students, however, that I was like cool with, like if I see Michaela or anybody from their year group in any grocery, I would hunt you. I would hunt you down. And I'd be like, hey, I see that one in the next aisle, and then I'll leave my cart and go in the next aisle and then say hey and whatnot, because my students are teaching is the only thing that could get me to be extroverted because I love it so much. So students usually get that out of me, but everybody else, nope, it's quite all right. Quite all right.
Michaela, that was... you can't relate to that one.
Nah, like I will say hi to everybody. Well, it depends. So like if I'm not in a sociable mood or like I don't feel for excessive smalls, then I wouldn't say hi. So like I'll go say hi to people who I know wouldn't put like excessive smalls. They'll do the pleasantries. Oh my gosh, hi, how are you? I'm good. You're good. Yeah, how everybody good, cool. Well, nice seeing you. Bye.
In my book, that is excessive small talk.
No, that's politeness. I don't mind that. Just don't ask about the whole life and yeah. Then I'll have to think about my responses because I could be very automatic in my responses, but if I had to think, don't make me think no.
Alright, cool. Well, that's it earlier. 1 minute and 1 hour 15 minutes on the dot. We gone. Y'all have a great week. See you next week. Bye-bye.